God's plan for Christian marriage can already be seen in the book of Genesis in the first and second chapters, which speak of how God created man. It says, "In the beginning God created male and female. In the image of God He created them. And then God gave His blessing. Be fertile and multiply and fill the earth." In the second chapter, in the second image of creation, it is written that God created woman from a man's rib. And it is also written that they were actually so interconnected with each other, and God also gave His blessing and said. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and clings to his wife, and the two of them become one body, which they became already by the act of creation. And Jesus, quoting this part from the book of Genesis, actually makes marriage into a sacrament. In this we see that marriage, Christian marriage and the Christian family are in God's plan from the very beginning. That husband and wife are in fact the image of God, who is in Himself a communion, though triune one. And by extending their communion to the family, with or without children, they become an even more perfect image of God and collaborators of God the Creator, that is, co-creators. Unfortunately, yes, it's some kind of a trend. It is a fact that is simply undeniable. This trend is obviously coming from the West. However, statistics show that such marriages more often end in divorce than those, so to say, normal Christian marriages that are in accordance with Christian teaching. Why does the Church not approve of this? Precisely because such a marriage is some kind of a pretended marriage, and such a marriage brings both partners to sinful occasions when it comes to sexuality. In terms of psychology and the spirituality of the marriage, it also leads to the fact that marriage is somehow consumed through it, and then people actually perceive marriage only as a kind of a legal act or as another kind of document. In my opinion, there is a lack of faith, a lack of knowledge about the sacraments. Because if there were knowledge about the sacraments, that marriage is one of the 7 sacraments, as valuable as the Holy Order, then I think people would think differently. It was always difficult to resist the spirit of the world, the spirit of the times. But here we need to strive to both speak and testify simply about the beauty of married life, of a normal Christian marriage. I am not the right person to witness it, but I can talk about it. However, those who are married can testify about it and be a positive example and encouragement for marriages to be made in the way they should be. As for the conditions are the same, prescribed by the Code of Canon Law. However, with the development of psychology, medicine, and other sciences, we have come to some knowledge that fits into the already defined canons. Now, instead of listing all the conditions for the nullity of marriage, since there are so many of them, I will mention just a few. For example, misconception about the essential characteristics of a person. If a person denies some of his essential qualities, for example, if a person knows that he or she is infertile and denies it consciously to his partner, or if he or she has some serious illness and consciously denies it, or if he or she is an addict or so on, then this leads to the nullity of marriage. Thus, the Church has not lowered the criteria at all, nor can she lower them, because the indissolubility of marriage is a divine right and not an ecclesiastical one. Therefore, Church authority cannot undo what God Himself said. In our country, it is still a kind of new reality, and we are only somehow coping with it because there were not many divorced couples in Herzegovina. But unfortunately, we have witnessed an increase in that number lately. The Church cares for all her children, both for those who formally live everything as they should and for those who have broken the vows of that sacrament. That pastoral care of the divorced is not yet sufficiently developed. We may not have found the right modalities as to how it should be regulated. The Church does not condemn anyone, and as a mother cannot condemn, but at the same time it is clear that she does not approve of this act of divorce. the pastoral care of the divorced has no intention in any way of legalizing divorce or making it normal. On the contrary, it is necessary, with the existing conditions as they are, to make the lives of the divorced normal, so that people do not fall away from the faith and are able to raise their children according to Christian values and direct them towards Christ and the Church. Thank you.